Hey everyone, welcome. This is Shari with the Live with Purpose Health and Life Coaching, and I'm super excited today because I have one of my friends and clients, Joan, with me today. And Joan was a client really started the 30-day jumpstart to Nourish You, and then transitioned and joined the Nourish with Purpose 8-week group coaching program. So I've asked her to come on and share a little bit of conversation around really what she was struggling with, what Nourish with Purpose helped her in her life, and how things are now. So I just want to welcome Joan here first. Hi, Joan.
Hi, Shari. Thanks for having me today.
Yes, I'm so excited. And I'm so grateful to you to share this, because sometimes it can be really difficult to be vulnerable and share with other people, especially on social media, and really being able to put yourself out there to say, hey, you're not alone. Letting other women know what they may be thinking or doing and struggling with is there is help out there. There are answers out there, and you just are modeling that so well tonight. So thank you for joining.
Sure.
Great. So I'm really curious if you can kind of explain or kind of give us some kind of a peek into what was life like, maybe even, a year ago. What was life like for you? And before you started really getting a little more serious about in the coaching group and that kind of thing.
Yeah. So I feel like through the past years that I've actually been kind of a wanderer of what does, wellness and what does health look like. And so about a year and a half ago, I started following you on social media, and was so interested, and I've always been interested in health and wellness, but you really, really just struck a chord with me in many ways of wellness and health is so much more than just being skinny, that kind of thing. And you introduced me to a whole nother world, and that I felt like kind of I was on solid ground, kind of the wandering had stopped, and you brought me to that solid ground. And before I had counted calories, I had journaled, obsessed with the scale, that kind of thing. So you've brought me kind of from the wandering journey really to solid ground, that I feel much more confident with what wellness looks like. And you've given me a good road to follow.
Yeah, it's so good to hear that. And I want to just kind of go back to, you mentioned really that wondering what's the next program, what's the next thing I can do to help myself lose the weight, or look better, look skinnier, that kind of thing. Mm-hmm. Tell me about, if you don't mind sharing, kind of how were you feeling like physically at that time before?
Yeah, really bloated, achy, kind of achiness. And, I would have a terrible weekend per se, and terrible was that I would eat too much or just feel really rotten, headaches with kind of too much sugar, that kind of thing. And so, Monday I would have my fat jeans, right? Or my work clothes, right? Monday I would feel really full in my belly and bloated, and then by Friday I would feel a little bit better. But it was just like I just felt not. I know I could feel better, and like I said, the achiness and the bloatedness, and just I needed to stretch more. I was tighten my muscles and things. So
yeah. How was like routine in your life then? Was there routine, sleep, any kind of structure there for you?
Yeah. So my sleep pattern at night was not very good at all. I wasn't sleeping very well. And just not a lot of structure, not a lot of consistency with exercise, not a lot of consistency with my eating. I would buy like a lot of protein bars just to know, like, okay, that I had 200 calories at breakfast, 200 calories at lunch. So, that consistency of healthy eating wasn't there either.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And so you started kind of following at
Mm-hmm.
first, and I remember because I'm like, oh my gosh, it's Joan. And for those of you who don't know Joan and I, we went to elementary school together. We
Yeah.
actually were in the same kindergarten class, and it's been so fun to reconnect and form that relationship kind of where we are now at this time in our lives. And I just thought that was so special. And being able to kind of have you come into the world of just what I was doing and stuff really meant a lot. And I understood that, we had talked a little bit. You had done the Wheel of Wellness workshop
Mm-hmm.
that I had offered, and we had a great opportunity to have a conversation there. And I could hear your passion in how you wanted some change in your life. And so I'm curious, like, what made you think, the 30-day jump start is where you started? What was the thing about that attracted you and then attracting you into the Nourish with
Mm-hmm.
Purpose?
Yeah. So the 30-day for me, it was a good time for me. It was about the good timing. And 30-day, I thought, I'm going to give it a try, because I was real with myself, thinking that, Joan, what I've tried in the past just really isn't working. What I've tried on my own, what I've tried to research on my own, just wasn't quite working. It wasn't consistent. And so I thought, I'm gonna try the 30-day with Shari, and I'm gonna be all in. And I'm by nature very much of a planner. And so I stopped the Joan thought process there, and I just said, I'm going to go into it with an open mind. I'm going to go into it just to explore, have fun. And what I found in the 30-day is that there was just so much curiosity without judgment in the 30-day. There was a beautiful routine that you helped us to kind of focus on what's fun, what you'll repeat, what you'll do again. And all of the pieces of the puzzle pieces were just really all coming together. They were all fitting together. And then I got to about week 3, and I was like, oh no, Shari, like, what are we going to do? Like, we're almost done. And you're like, we're not done. Like, there's an opportunity to do more. And at that point, it was a no-brainer for me. I'm like, whatever it is, I am going to continue with Nourish with Purpose. And for me, those pieces of the puzzles are locked now. So instead of, like, I noticed the pieces coming together and now they're solid. The pieces are locked tight. My routines, what I've started doing, are just coming at they're a habit now. I don't even have to think about them. My power down hour in the evening is just a non-negotiable for me. I absolutely love my power down hour. I've set fun, realistic goals. And when I look at my plate, I know that my plate is healthy. And I think about what I eat and how I feel afterwards too. And I know exactly what foods make me feel good, and I know what foods don't. So I really try to focus on the right eating and avoid the things that I don't feel well. So
Yeah. You've had so many wins in just these short 8 weeks that we've been together, and you've really taken action. You decided, you were all in, and even just kind of like, what's next? Let's go. I'm ready to go. And so you came with the right mindset of being open and being curious and not being hard on yourself. Tell me a little bit about now how Joan is thinking versus a year ago. now that you've had time with Nourish with Purpose and being in this group coaching setting, what that's been like for you.
Yeah. So I feel much, much stronger emotionally and physically, and I feel more joyful. Like I said, the curiosity is so much fun because I just enjoy life so much more. And I'm really stopping to smell the roses, right? There's so much more in wellness than other than just eating and exercising. It's the abundance mindset, and it's the whole, and how's my environment, how's my spirituality, my mental thinking and feelings. There's just so much that goes into it. So that's definitely come to fruition. Those are the essential things that I know are all about wholeness and wellness. For the group coaching, I absolutely love the group coaching. So Shari, you are an amazing leader. So you lead the coaching calls, and I can tell you the 30-day group, they were amazing gals. I still think about them often. And the Nourish with Purpose, the gals that were in that group are amazing. And we share so much motivation. We share pictures of what we're doing. We share recipes, what our kids are doing. And I always look forward to hearing from the others. And your Practice Better platform and your Voxer is amazing. When the Voxer goes off, I'm like, oh, I have a message from the group. And it's just, it makes things a lot of fun, very motivational, and it keeps us all accountable. So that accountability has been huge too for me.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, I love that you're dipping into this, because this is where we all struggle with accountability. We struggle with consistency, and it can be really hard for us to say, I need support or I need help, and admit that. So, and you have really busted through all of that. And yes, our group coaching calls, and I have set it up where there's modules, just to let anybody know watching this. In Practice Better, I've set up a group as a module, a video to watch, and then you come live to a group coaching setting, and everybody gets a turn in the hot seat.
Yeah.
What's a goal this week? What's a win? What's a goal? What's something you're struggling with? And what can we just gratitude? What can we be grateful for? And I absolutely love coaching. I've seen what it's done in my life, and I see what it does in other people's lives. And it's so different, and it's so hard to describe sometimes. So I'm wondering for you, like, what made this decision a little bit, I don't know, what were the questions that you had that maybe before you did Nourish with Purpose or kind of got in that group coaching session, that maybe you can answer something that somebody else is maybe thinking, if you had any questions that popped up?
Yeah. Before Nourish with Purpose, I kind of had the mindset of like, am I worth it kind of thing? Am I worth it to invest in something like this? Will it work, or will it be just another 1,001 diets that I've done? Is Shari going to tell me I need to for a food journal? No, you don't. Is she going to make me, go to that burn cycle class that, it's like, no, none of that. You don't make me do anything. You were just so kind with giving different ideas and suggestions. And you're definitely, so maybe a thought of, will she be pushy or things like that? And that's an absolute no. You're an amazing listener. And it's amazing that when there are times when I needed just that extra little motivation, or the recall of, Joan, these are all the things that you're doing and all the things that you've done. I remember one coaching session, you were sharing that with me, and I just kind of stopped, and I was like, is that me? Like, that's so it's a just do it for me. It was a just do it. And after I allowed myself to just trust you, it came so natural, so easy.
Yeah. And those are those things you have done so awesome. We get in our own way, right? We get in the weeds of life and we start taking ourselves out of the game to win. So easily done. We start those thoughts of like, oh, here we go again. I blew it again. I ate the whatever again. And one of those things of just like stepping back to say, it's okay. There's nothing wrong with it. You get to, eat what you want. You get to do what you want when it comes to movement and being able to find those things. In coaching, we really try to ask the powerful questions of the answers that are inside you. So pulling out that, we call it the intrinsic motivation. It's like, what is your internal, thing that's going to make you like want to do this kind of thing? What is it? And I always love having the conversation when somebody's like, okay, what movement should I do? I need to go to the gym. And I'm like, no. I want to hear what movement you're going to do where you get to make it simple, easy, and fun. And I know for you, you've mentioned like you live in Ohio, so we're peeling into winter here. We're coming into winter. And tell me kind of like what your plan is forward or kind of where you were the past winters and what's now going to be different this year.
Yeah. So the past winters, I would honestly just hibernate. I would come home from work, have a big dinner, eat too much, and then I would sit for the rest of the evening. And it's like in the 10 pounds that I would lose during the summer, I would just gain it back every winter. And so I have a wonderful plan for this winter. My treadmill is going to be working. So I have a plan that I'm going to get a different treadmill and just really continue those exercises that I know really, really work, and just do a little more of the strength training. And I love to walk, and I have a bike downstairs, so I'll be able to easily continue that pattern and that consistency of my 3 to 4 times a week to schedule that exercise. And so the plan is in place. And again, I feel so good. So it's a no-brainer. It's easy because I have formed that habit. Yeah. And I remember, Shari, I was talking about, kind of working my arms and exercise. And I remember very early on with the 30-day, and you had said, well, can you do 5 reps? And I was like, yeah. Can you do 5 reps with, lifting maybe 2 days a week? I'm like, yeah. I mean, so that's how easy it started out. And that consistency has just really kept the momentum going.
Yeah. And that's what it is. We think sometimes we have to do this all or nothing kind of approach to wellness, of putting ourselves, like, if we can't get the full workout in, or then why should we do it, or eat healthy, then let's give up kind of thing. And I know you and I have talked about like sprinkling movement in through your day, and you work full time. So trying to strategize, how can you get some steps in and that kind of thing. So I don't know if you want to share anything about that, like what you're doing now.
Absolutely. So I've incorporated that into my work day. Is what I set a goal for is 3 times a week that I can get a 15-minute walk in. So if you count that up, that's like an additional workout. So the last couple weeks, I've gotten 4 workouts or 4 walks in during my lunch break. And, I work at the hospital. And so walking is easy there. And that's been a lot of fun too. I actually have it on my calendar. So when it pops up, it's like a meeting, it's some dedicated time. And so just incorporating those little things like that do make me feel so good. And I incorporate that into the time of day when I need to get up and move a little bit more. And it gives me that energy too for the remaining part of the day.
Yeah, I wanted you to share that because I think we think too, again, it has to be all or nothing, and we can take those slivers and those slivers all add up. And what a difference. And what I really hear you saying is the difference in how you feel is really what matters. So
Yeah, definitely.
it's been so good. I want to just like give you a chance to say, what are you celebrating now? We're like wrapping up this 8-week group coaching, and we're talking about doing a VIP 6-month coaching is the next step, possibly. And seeing like, is that next, or what is next for you? And so what are you celebrating first at the end of this whole container that we've been in?
Yeah. So if I had to narrow it down to one thing, what I'm celebrating the most is living in the art of being. So Shari, you talked a lot about being in life. Who are we being? Are we voting for ourselves? Who is Joan being? And that to me has resonated so much. So I'm living an amazing life in the art of being, and not so much the doing part. I still love to be productive. I love to work, but really the most important thing is being. Who am I being so that I can help myself and then others too?
Yeah. Oh, I love that. And it's such a beautiful way that we get a choice. We get to decide. And sometimes we think, we don't have that power inside us anymore because of, all kinds of distractions in our life, or the chaos that we might be in, or we may be in a new phase of life where our kids are now have all their things that they're doing. And here we are, we get to decide to take that step. So if you had say somebody's on the fence and they're like, I don't have the time, it's not the right time, or maybe I'm not sure I want to spend the money on myself, or not sure if I can really give myself permission, or I need to check with my husband kind of thing. But do you have anything to say about that? If anybody's on the fence about that, how did you answer that?
Yeah. So the easy answer to that is to just do it. But I know people might need a little more than that. But I would say that if there's even an inch within you that says, I've been trying things and it's not working, there is so much more to health and wellness that makes someone have the full integrity of who they are. And that's really what you've brought to the table. It's the wheel of life that incorporates so much more than just simple like eating and exercising. You've brought so much more into the whole being of a person. Like I said, the elements of your environment, your spirituality, your finance, you name it, and mental and thinking. So if there's just an ounce in you that wants to try it, go for it. There's so much to gain.
Yeah. Well, you certainly have proved that in what you've done during our time together. And I'm just so appreciative of you coming and being willing to share. So if you are watching this, give some love to Joan in the comments here so let's just shower her with so much love, sharing how brave she is to come on and really talk about this. And Joan, you're such a special woman, and you are such a bright light to so many people. And I know this is the job that you do. People see that. People have seen that around you by when you have invested in yourself and you're taking care of yourself first, how the light just comes out and it shines. So great job.
Thanks, Shari. I appreciate that. And you have been an awesome coach, and I just can't wait to see what the next 6 months brings. So
yeah. Well, thanks again, Joan. And thanks everybody.